Welcome to the foundation. Here is how to start your LLC. Once again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I do not give legal advice. These shows, the foundation, they're for educational, informational purpose, entertainment purposes. Some people, find the show entertaining. Hey, that's on you. Respect. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through how to start an LLC. Now, this is going to be pretty much the same for everyone, no matter what state you're in. Now, some states have business centers. Some states deal directly with the Secretary of State, and then some states the Secretary of State has two different spots. It has a business center. Every state is different when it comes to which specific agency is going to be utilized when setting up an LLC. But an LLC, according to the Internal Revenue Service, and I put this in the show discussion on the Discord or on the server. A limited liability company is a business structure allowed by state statute. Each state may use different regulations. You should check with your state if you are interested in starting a limited liability company. So this is something that is done at the state level. Owners of an LLC are called members. Most states do not restrict ownership, so members may include individuals, corporations, other LLCs, and foreign entities. I'm going to throw in there trusts and business trusts, even though that's not in there, but I'm going to throw that in there because a trust is a legal person. There is no maximum number of members. Most states also permit single-member LLCs, those having only one owner. A few types of businesses generally cannot be LLCs, such as banks and insurance companies. Check your state's requirement and the federal tax regulations for further information. There are special rules for foreign LLCs. Depending on elections made by the LLC and the number of members, the IRS will treat an LLC as either a corporation, a partnership, or as part of the LLC's owner's tax return, which is a disregarded entity. Specifically, a domestic LLC with at least two members is classified as a partnership for federal income tax purposes unless it files Form 832 and affirmatively elects to be treated as a corporation. For income tax purposes, an LLC with only one member is treated as an entity disregarded as separate from its owner, unless it files Form 8832 and elects to be treated as a corporation. However, for purposes of employment tax and certain excise taxes, an LLC with only one member is still considered a separate entity. All right, so an LLC with only one member is considered a disregarded entity. So it's disregarded as an entity separate from its owner unless the LLC files Form 8832 and elects to be treated as a corporation. A multi-member LLC is classified as a partnership for federal income tax purposes unless it files Form 8832 and affirmatively elects to be treated as a corporation. So basically, and this is before I'm telling y'all how to do it. You know what I mean? Whoa, what was that? Before we talk about even how to start an LLC, we need to understand what it is. An LLC is a state allowed structure. It can be a multi-member. It can be a sole member. The state recognizes it as an LLC. The federal government recognizes it as a partnership if it's more than one member, or as a disregarded entity. Its bottom line, it's a glorified sole proprietorship if it's a single member LLC, which means the income is taxed to the single member as if it were a sole proprietorship on the federal level, unless it is elected to be taxed as a corporation. This is the federal level. If it's two members on the federal level, it's taxed as a partnership. If it's one member on the federal level, it's a disregarded entity. This is important. I know people go to LegalZoom, pay $1,000, get an LLC, single member, it's disregarded entity. If it has two members, it's a partnership. They try to file the corporate return at the end of the year. It gets returned by the IRS, and they say either you have to file a partnership because there's multi-members, or you have to file a Schedule C, or, not even that. I think it's, Schedule C. See, don't take my word for this, because this is not how I administer my estate. But basically, the single member must claim and be responsible for all of the income on the individual tax return. Because on the federal level, unless it's elected to be taxed as a corporation, that's how they do it. A lot of people miss this. You got Form 8832 to elect the LLC to be treated and taxed as a corporation on the federal level. And you have Form 2553 to elect for the LLC to be taxed as an S Corp. C Corp, S Corp. C Corp election is 8832. S Corp election is 2553. Pancake and toes right now, just so y'all know. It is what it is. So, let's save you a bunch of bread. You ready to start? You ready to start your LLC? Here's how to start your LLC. Like I said, this is not legal advice. Because I can't give legal advice. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. So first and foremost, choose the name of your LLC. That's number one. You got to choose a name. No one else is going to give you a name. You can ask people and they'll tell you, but choose a name. It's not that big of a deal. Whatever the name is, it has to be LLC at the end, or limited liability company, or limited. And then your state, the state where you're in, typically in the instructions for the articles of organization, will have that rule. But it can be anything you want as long as it's available. Now, people say, hey, so should I do a search to search and make sure that the name for the LLC is available? I would say, sure, if you want. Personally, no, I don't. The reason why is I go in there with a name, probably 2 names, 3 names, very similar names. And if the one that I want is not available, then I'll use the second one. So the second one in line. And usually that's available. I don't think I've ever had to use the third name, but it's usually like the very similar, like the Foundation, LLC. Oh, that's taken. How about Foundation, LLC? Oh, that's taken. How about the Foundation #1 LLC? It's not difficult. It's not difficult. If you want a specific name, Maybe you want to search. You want to do a search. Me personally, like I said, I'm going to go in there with a couple different names. It's not a big deal. We're just trying to do business. So you got to choose the name. Number one, choose a name. Number two, you have to find your state's articles of organization for a limited liability company. So the easiest way to do that is just type in your state. Like Texas LLC. Let's do it for Texas real quick. Texas. So for Texas is a Secretary of State, sos.state.tx.us. Corporate forms is Form 205 for Texas. It comes with the instructions. They're typically a page or 2 pages. Usually, it's rare where I see that they're more than a couple pages. 2, 3 pages. Yeah, they want the name of the limited liability company, and the name must contain the words limited liability company, limited company, or an abbreviation of one of these phrases. So LLC or LC. You need an initial registered agent. It can be an organization, but it can't be the registered agent for itself, or it can be an individual resident of the state. You need a business address. They want to know, is the LLC going to be managed by managers, or if it's going to be managed by the members? They want a governing person. And they're going to want the name, address of the organizer. Signature and date. It's very simple. Very, very simple. It comes with instructions. You can look at the instructions. Now, Georgia. I'm going to do Georgia real quick. Because Georgia's a little, Georgia's different. I've dealt with Georgia a couple times. And it was always like, wow, how this is different. So Georgia, they got the Georgia Tax Center. Department must register a new business with the Georgia Tax Center. The GTC, you will need the following information: the legal name, location, and mailing address. The business type. You can do it online, but it's very similar. It's, the name of the LLC, registered agent, organizer, any of the members or the managers, sign and date. And then here, let's do one more. Let's do how about New Jersey? New Jersey. It's off the top of my head. So they got the online filing, right? A lot of these things you can do online. And when you do it online, they give you the information right there. You just print off the articles and you're good to go. business.nj.gov. And then they want you to choose a business structure. No, New Jersey domestic limited liability company. And then, you can go through on the line. They want the agent, they want the members, they want the managers. It's pretty straightforward. in my opinion. But you choose a name and you file the articles of incorporation or articles of organization. Typically, it's going to be the Secretary of State with your state or the business center, business division. One to 3 pages, name of the business, registered agent. Registered agent is the person that will receive a service for process or for maybe a process server. If there's a lawsuit or some sort of action being brought against the company, they would send a notice to the registered agent. A lot of times a company will have a registered agent to receive the notice that does not work with the company. May not be the corporate address. Law firms a lot of times offer registered agent services for a fee. Registered agent can be anyone. It can be anyone. And they don't necessarily have to be at the same address of the limited liability company. So, number 1, choose the name of the LLC. You could do a name search if you want. But I would have, 1 or 2 extra or additional variations of the name just in case the one that you want isn't available. The more obscure you make the name, the more it's going to be available. If you go in there and you want, a typical name, you may have difficulties. But, people put ones and letters and, KJ1294 LLC. I've seen, especially people with that, maybe flip houses or realtors or something, if the house number of the address is, 5640. I've seen 5640 LLC, or maybe they'll put in, the house number, maybe it's 5939. Rosewood Drive LLC. You can name it whatever you want. I wouldn't get stuck up on the name. Something that you can tolerate, though. You're going to be writing checks, doing business in that name. You don't want to get burnt out from the name. But, we're just doing business. File the articles of organization. You can file them online. You're going to get it immediately. Right now, the panorama, they're not really doing in-person stuff. A lot of people are working from home. You got to make appointments and things like that. Some states may be open. Walking in person, you can get it right there, expedited service. You can do it online, or you can send it through the mail. There's usually a fee. It's usually between $50 to $150, depending on the state. But typically, the renewal every year is free as long as you do it on time. Typically, it's free. If it's late renewal or something like that, they're going to charge you. Some states, they charge for the renewal. I think Georgia might charge for the renewal every year. Number 3. Obtain the EIN from IRS.gov. EIN is an employee identification number. You can apply for the employee identification number online. It takes about 8 to 10 minutes. And it's free. Anyone charging for EINs for your corporation or your LLC, okay, you should move around. Let them do that, but don't pay. IRS.gov. You can type in the search bar EINs or employer ID numbers. You can apply online. Takes about 8 to 10 minutes. You can receive the EIN letter electronically. They'll give it to you in PDF. You can print it right there. So you can essentially start your LLC. You can organize the corporation, the LLC, online, going through the application process, have the certificate of organization and the articles printed. You print it off. Take you about what? I'd say about 10 to 20 minutes. Shouldn't take you more than 10 to 20 minutes. Now, I highly recommend you review the instructions before you jump online trying to fill it out. Review the instructions. And then when you feel good about your review of the instructions, jump online. It's your Secretary of State. Like I said, it's going to be between $50 and $150. Some states is going to be more. Some states is going to be less. And you can organize the LLC online, 10 to 20 minutes. Get the paperwork, get the documentation. It's valid. Print it off on your computer. I mean, on your laptop or whatever. Print it off. Save the files. And then go to irs.gov and apply for an employer identification number. It's free. Take about 5 to 8 minutes. You click receive the letter online, print that off, and in about 30 minutes, give or take, you will have organized the LLC, and you will have obtained the employer identification number for the LLC, which means at this point, you can go open a bank account in the name of the LLC. You got the articles of organization. You have the employer identification number. If you're one of the members, obviously, if you listed yourself as a member, you just take the articles of organization, take the EIN down to a bank, and open up the checking account for the business checking account. Now remember, you're going to have to file either the 8832 to classify it as a C Corp, as a corporation on the federal level. Otherwise, it's either a disregarded entity or a partnership. Or you have to file the IRS Form 2553 to get it classified as a S Corp, subchapter S Corporation. I can't give you legal advice. You do what you do. I'm more familiar with the C Corp, the corporate designation. Tax it as a corporation versus S. I'm not, hey, there it is. Now, you're not finished because you got to do the 2553 or the 8832, get it classified, because the state where you organize this LLC recognizes it as an LLC. But remember, when you file, as an individual, when you file the individual taxes, there's a state return and there's a federal return. So the company is dealing with dual jurisdiction as well. So if you're going to avoid a lot of headache and disappointment and anger, if you remember to elect the LLC to be classified either as a C Corp or S Corp, depending on your situation, depending on what you're looking to do. Now, I would still, look to book a consultation, with me. And you can do that at welcometothefoundation.com. Get your stuff set up, or, you can wait before you get it set up. And we can talk about your specific business, what you're specifically going to do. But, just me speaking general right here, you may miss some things. Maybe you do an S corp when you really should have did a C corp, or you do a C corp and an S corp could have been better. But I mean, you can do a search on the internet, jump on Google or whatever, and say, C corp versus S corp, and just read. It'll come up. A lot of articles will come up in different, publications, and just check it out. Read back and forth, different articles until you feel comfortable that you have the, an overall understanding or overstanding or, comprehension of the difference between a C corp and an S corp. But then you got to drill down some more, because now you understand the differences, but how does that apply to what you're looking to do? There's a big thing about the multi versus single. That's a big deal, especially when it comes to, quote, taxation. So 1, choose the name of the LLC. 2, file the articles of organization with the Secretary of State. 3, obtain an employer identification number from the Internal Revenue Service, irs.gov. 4, open the business bank account. It's important. You got to open the business bank account. That's now the business can accept checks and payments in its name. It's important not to commingle funds. It's important to tell them to write the check in the name of the business, or wire the money to the business account. It's important that you do that. You want to separate the transactions and separate, the income, separate the money, separate the pay. You want to separate it. It's a distinct and separate entity. But open up the business bank account. Number 4. Number 5. Number 5, you need an operating agreement. It's very important to have an operating agreement. It's important to have the operating agreement because it tells the accountant how to fill out the tax return. There are certain provisions that are placed in the operating agreement that if they're not placed in there, if they're left out, the accountant is going to go straight to the statutes, which typically is going to be detrimental to the members or the owners of the LLC. And this is 100% in regard to losses and profits and multi-membership. It will be evidenced in the operating agreement. Now, people get this confused. So I want to be clear. Articles of organization are filed with the Secretary of State. The articles of organization are filed with the Secretary of State. You print off the articles. You keep them in the corporate files. The operating agreement is not filed with the Secretary of State. It is supplemental to the articles of organization. It is assumed that attached or preceding the articles of organization, there will be an operating agreement. It's not filed with the Secretary of State, but it must be submitted or shown upon request of the state, of the Internal Revenue Service, of any CPAs, any auditors, any state agencies that request the operating agreement. It'll be necessary for the operating agreement in any litigation or lawsuit. Without an operating agreement with the right clauses in it, you leave yourself exposed to liability 100%. And a lot of people don't find this out until it's too late. And that's why I wanted to do this show. I find myself having to revisit certain topics. Sometimes information is different. Sometimes I find that, people are booking consultations and maybe this is a trend of what people are asking. And then I'll just do a show on it. Because then that way I can be like, I did a show on that. Some people are like, hey, Sot, I want to book a consultation with you. I want to start my LLC. I'll be like, I did a show on that. I actually did a show on that recently. So check out the show. And if you still want to do a consultation after the show, then hit me up. I'd rather do that. If you can save, $55, we'll definitely accept your donation for consultation. And, I definitely recommend it, but it's not a requirement. I'm not going to say it's a requirement. But I always, I'm always looking to do as many measurements as is necessary so that I only have to cut one time. I'm not looking to waste energy. I want to get it all right the first time is what I'm basically saying. Measure twice, cut once. Measure 18 times, cut once. So yeah, booking a consultation would, it definitely wouldn't hurt. You're going to learn something, I guarantee it. And you can find the link to book the consultation in the offerings tab on the Discord server. Also, on the website, welcometothefoundation.com. We're going to be going through some changes of the website. We're going to be going through some changes with the foundation. But for now, you can still book a consultation from welcometothefoundation.com. If you so desire. But yeah, I just wanted to put y'all on as far as, how to start an LLC. I'm not trying to nickel and dime people. I know what LegalZoom charges. I know the package that they send looks kind of dope, It looks real official. It's lacking. It's missing a lot. And it's, the stuff that is lacking is very important. I've had clients that organized their LLC with LegalZoom, got the whole packet, went to file their taxes at the end of the year. The accountant filed the taxes as requested. Oh, it's a corporation. Okay. Got returned. Sorry. You're going to have to file this with your 1040, which is ouch face. You're going to miss a lot of deductions. You're gonna think that, this was expenses, this is expenses, and this was deductions, and it's not going to be what you thought. And it can be frustrating. And to avoid that frustration, just follow these 5 steps. Choose the name of your LLC. Have 2 minimum, two renditions of the name minimum. Number 2, file the articles of organization with your respective secretaries of state. Number 3, obtain an employer identification number from the IRS.gov website. And filing the articles of organization with your respective secretary of state can be done online. You print it off when you're done filing or obtaining the employer identification number from IRS.gov. You can do it online. You can print it off. You can get this done in less than, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, as long as you review the instructions and you're familiar, you're ready to go. If you try to learn as you go, it might take you an hour. And then once you got the IRS employer identification number, you got the articles of organization, open the business bank account. And finally, number 5, you create an operating agreement. Simplest way, type in your state, Texas, LLC, operating agreement, template. Hit enter. Texas, LLC, operating agreement, template. Hit enter. Georgia, LLC, operating agreement, template. Hit enter. And you're gonna get a bunch. You're gonna get pages, probably pages of LLC templates. You might even get operating agreements from actual LLCs that are available online. Maybe they have them on their website or something like that. Google these web searches. They crawl the web looking for certain things that are labeled a certain way. So you might get some actual operating agreement. You want to review these operating agreements to where you understand what they basically cover. It might take you a day or so. Take 2 or 3 of them, maybe 4 of them, and read them all. And then read them all again and be like, okay, I see the similarities. They all have this. They all have this, and this is where some of them get different, so that you can create your own operating agreement for the LLC. You're going to save the business. You're going to save the business thousands of dollars if you do it this way. If you don't go to LegalZoom, you organize it yourself. You get the employer identification number. You open the business bank account, and you craft the operating agreement. You're going to save the company thousands of dollars. And it's a beautiful thing. Or not. You can contract. However you do it is fine, as long as it gets done. You got automation is coming, artificial intelligence, technology. It's taking jobs after job after job. The future is going to be really different, and it's going to be very different from what most of us believe or think the future is going to be. And I just think it's paramount. It's of paramount importance that we get ahead of it. We get ahead of this and get ready. Get in the habit, get in the mind state, get in the situation of starting a business, administering a business, and offering goods and services. Especially when this universal basic income comes, people are just going to have money to be spending money. You're either a consumer or a producer. Technically, if you are a producer, you're going to be a consumer as well. But if you don't produce, if you're not producing something, if you're not being industrious in some way, shape, or form, you are going to be left behind, family. You are going to be left behind. And that's not what I want to see. It's not what I want to allow. I do understand that it's free will, and I can't control you. I can't control what you do or what you don't do. I can just say that I'm heavily invested in the positive functioning of your future and the future of your family estate. Yeah. That's how you start your LLC. I trust y'all enjoyed the show. I trust y'all enjoyed the content. I trust that you learned something, anything. You know, I'm always looking to add value. You know, I'm looking to add value. Me adding value is very important to me. So, you know, I trust you learned something. I think I'm going to take one call, and then we're going to wrap it up. We got about 3 minutes left in the broadcast. If you're listening online, you're going to want to call in, because in about 3 minutes you're going to get disconnected. So I want to do this announcement now. Usually I'm really late. I say it late, like, oh, we got 30 seconds left in the broadcast. You know, I've just had people say they didn't have a chance to call in because I waited so long. So we got about 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes left in the live broadcast. You want to call in? If you want to stick with us, 563-999-3625, 563-999-3625. Otherwise, you're going to get disconnected. You're going to get cut off, and you have to listen to the rest of the show in the archives. So I'm going to take one call. Maybe, I don't know. For now, I'm doing one. I'm just going to do one call. And we're going to do that dance. So let's do 602-9705. Area code 602-9705. Peace, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, peace to the guys. This is Brother Albert calling from the Phoenix area. Peace to you, Brother Sot. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing great. How you doing, family? Good to hear from you.
Doing well. Crazy well. I would say crazy because I prefer the array of variables that come, or we call it the shitstorm of life. I like as much as I can take, honestly. Problem with that is, you know, we got to learn how to be able to bear the weight that we have and be more efficient. So I really appreciate you talking on the LLC. You already know you're talking about me a little bit in there too. I personally, once again, I'm a minister of love. My family and I, my son, he's here with me, my 11-year-old. You want to say hello, Julian? Hello. Say hey, so. Hey, everybody. Yeah, his first time he ever getting shied up. He always got too much to say. We out here just grinding away. What's that?
I love it. Go ahead, though.
We out here grinding away on our second, third, fourth investment. As much as we want to be out here playing and running around and riding bikes and doing the things we do, and we enjoying the rest of sunshine. We found ourselves into another investment in the trucking industry, a good old truck here. He's learning how to place a couple batteries and things like that, small things that we can do just to be able to take advantage of the day. As much as we want to go sit down and enjoy the comfort of that sofa, that AC, all that good stuff, we're sitting out here doing what we can, you know. And he is holding me accountable as well. The most important thing I think we can all do is hold each other accountable. And you hold me accountable as well by bringing your subjects up, because we always in the same loop of building and trying to stay out of our comfort zone so that we can keep on pushing here. And regards to the LLC, man, well, let me rewind back to that. I kind of wish I could run through the news with you sometimes. I'm going to start taking a little bit more notes when I'm on the days that we got the show. We're more involved because I guess I can be right next to you in some of the news with a lot of our experience. Specifically, let me just rewind to that as far as the electric car, the automation, like that. Being involved in the trucking industry where we're at now, we have to see the curve of the tide. I'll give you our experience. Right now, of course, everybody hears about electric trucks, electric cars. We see them all day long. I almost got out of my truck as we were meeting with a customer today. I almost got ran over by a Tesla because I couldn't hear that thing coming through the parking lot. In the loading zone, they decided to sweep through and about run us over. But in the trucking industry, we're seeing the wave come with that. Not even specifically that we're seeing trucks that are electric. We start working on electric trucks right now, anything like that. But it's seeing the forethought that they've done, and I guess the pre-plan or precognition for the individuals who have seen ahead of all of the things that a lot of us are barely hearing about. And I'll give you, for instance, for example, one of the last calls that we took last night to give an aid to an individual at a truck stop. 55-year-old male who drove for 30 years, pretty much his entire life for someone, finally saved up the money to be able to buy his own truck. And now a year, or less than a year, he got his truck in November, less than a year having his truck, he was stopped, couldn't even drive his truck, couldn't move, couldn't do nothing, a perfectly, wonderfully good moving truck. Couldn't move because of the restrictions they put on everyone in the area of emissions, like you were talking about Cadillac converters. There's a type of thing in a lot of trucks that most people aren't aware of, the DEF system or diesel exhaust fluid, after treatment systems, things like that. And they put such a bottleneck on the time that these gentlemen could run, the way they could run, the amount of hours they could run, the ways they can run. And if these gentlemen want to sit here and enjoy the air while they're sleeping and things like that, the unfortunate event that happens with them is these filters clog up so bad that we have to come out and charge them hundreds and thousands of dollars just in pure time to be able to take these things apart and clean them out so that they can be on the road driving again. And if you look at the ways that we're learning with these simple types of these mission systems that they have applied over the last 5 to 10 years, they're forcing it to where, without a doubt, you can see that they're saying, of course, they're creating so much pollution, they got to put all these different filters on the exhaust to catch all these smoke and fumes and all this stuff, the soot, and clean them out of the air. Now, once again, they're saying it's too much, so we have to go to electric now. All I'm saying by this is we got to be able to see the wave that they're taking us in, the wave that they're driving us in, the bottleneck that they're all putting us in the ways that we're doing it. And even for us, we've had to learn in the last year or less, we'll just say the last few months, our bottleneck that they put us in the other part of the news that you shared as far as individuals who are entrepreneurs, let's say the restaurant that you were talking about specifically, that could not even hire anybody because there was nobody coming in the door to fucking work. One of our most sought after, very exciting moments in our building this last year was the training of 4 months of one specific individual that we were excited to bring on as a partner. You don't want to bring individuals on as individuals that are just going to be working away to do nothing with themselves except for collect a paycheck. This individual understood everything, comprehended it, and right at the end of their training, and they were getting ready to receive a whole nother level of knowledge of success in business and entrepreneurship and all that they have already seen coming. They took, as I think you explained it before in another show, the low-hanging fruit on the tree. I wouldn't even say low-hanging fruit on the tree. The tree was on the fruit that was on the ground in this instance. They decided to opt out from making a very well income in life for themselves as an entrepreneur and most people would say business owners, but a trustee or partnership in another business. They chose to go on unemployment. They chose to get basic welfare, food stamps, all of that, fly homeless, all that stuff, and they're more comfortable sitting at home doing whatever they're doing on their sofa, sucking up the air, than taking and trimming, so to speak, the branches and the trees, the branch in their trees to be able to produce more productive fruit. So they're sitting there just waiting to get it, not even trying to go anywhere else and be productive. So in a few of these different areas in the trucking industry, we can see how people are getting choked out, and they got to get ready. The other industries, as far as anyone on the lower levels, we get stuck. We all want to be able to enjoy comfort in this life. But once again, I'm always here to encourage, hey, look around. Another 30 minutes in the morning, an hour, 30 minutes after work, an hour. Spend a few moments to invest in yourself. Yeah, preaching to the choir. Got to do it myself. I'm blessed right now to be able to take advantage of this day, this moment here with my son, and the nice little breeze that we have to be able to invest this last hour or 2 or 3 of the day. We're not going to try to burn the midnight oil and sit out here and kill ourselves. Be able to force investment to hurry up and get in its place, but to do what we can with the time that we have. Because we need to invest in ourselves. We need to invest into the loud little individuals over here running around like this guy. Which is the best thing we got, man. And it's all about time. And I appreciate the analogy that one brother on the line knows who he is, told me years ago, that it's not about making the time hour. Enough with the bullshit, enough with the excuses, enough. Like, not really telling me he's tired of hearing it, not that I'm in the biggest excuse giver, but comprehending that at the end of the day, once again, we all got struggles. We got health issues, we got time, we got work, we got money. We all got. But what we got is what we get, What we get is what we got. And we gotta take advantage of this time right now, everyone. Do your best to take advantage of it, because it's the most precious thing you got. I'm staring at a 1.5-year-old and 11-year-old, and these guys are growing faster than any plant that I can grow. And it's extremely phenomenal. It's extremely phenomenal. Back to the LLC stuff. I like to no matter what, any individual that I meet and their passion, wherever they're at, their ideas, their design. Another artist, rapper that we met this last week, with good love and truth, as spiritual type of speaking. The hairdressers, my buddy, the Mr. Reese, he calls Reese's Cuts. He's a mobile barber. These types of individuals, they're struggling, wanting to be free from what entities they're in. I let them know. My phrase is, look, you can start an LLC sitting on the toilet. Everybody want to sit there and read their messages and go through their social media and yada, yada for 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever your thing is. So you're there. That's how you're going to do it. But sit there. Like you just broke it down. I've done it before. And I've been blessed to be able to see folks take that advice and get over there and create an LLC. Here in the state of Arizona, last time I checked, you can start an LLC for $35. $35. General LLC, get your EIN. If you need it next day, you pay another $50, $5 to create an LLC. We got so blessed to have enough training and trustee training to be able to use many years ago, to be able to use the trust to go ahead and use that to back up and start an LLC. But it really legitimately is all the same. You're punching in the numbers, going through the flow, ABC 1, 2, 3, real simple. So I encourage y'all not to let this stuff overwhelm you. Life is, legitimately, naturally overwhelming in the way that it's taught to us too much. So I'm still, as I started out saying, the type of individual who likes a type of crazy chaos. I'm a minister. I'm used to, in the past, being in churches, and a church to me is like a hospital. Everybody wants to sit there and look all good and fancy in their nice clothes. But people come there, they sick. They got issues. It's real world stuff. Not in the church no more, but this is my church right here, High Frequency Radio Foundation. Whether you go to a cross or whether you go to high frequency, we all still got to bow and be humble at the end of the day to the one that's in the mirror and be honest. If you ain't honest with that one, your belly's going to be sick. So I encourage y'all just to take the time out, because what you can build with the LLC in general, the type of business credits you can build there in the amount of 3 to 6 months, whether you busted and shot up your credit left, right, and upside down, the ratio that you can build on a business credit level versus just your personal credit alone is much more beneficial, especially if you file your tax forms and things like that, and basic proper procedure to be able to get a home, which, some folks can use that home for their business, which is another friend's benefit, and a write-off, and your sheets and your pillows and your blankets and your socks and your underwears and things like that. It's of the business nature. So, just trying to give you the little bit that we've learned. I come from a family of entrepreneurs that have learned the best and the worst ways. My great-grandfather, was rich farmer in Scottsdale, Arizona, many, many generations before me. And the one time he didn't pay his insurance, somebody got in a wreck with him, and he lost his entire farm. One of the most wealthiest places in Arizona, and he had to become the lower level farmer instead of the owner. So I've seen it many times, and I'm trying not to, on any given day, put myself in those types of liability. But now, we all got to take what we do think is good, and see the difference between good and a good job, getting a pat on the back, and a well done by being able to look in the mirror and say, I did do this. I did make it happen. So always encouraging from our family to yours, lift yourself up, take one more step. Even if that step is to not work an extra hour of overtime, even though you might need that money, because whatever you might need that money for or want it for, your kids might need you more. You might need yourself more. You might need to go take a walk. You might need to have some self-care. Exercise. I know myself on any given day, if I stretch myself too thin, I can throw myself for a loop, day or two behind, trying to work, take care of too many people, too many customers, too many things like that, run me ragged. I ain't got much left for 2 or 3 days rebound to take me out. So more isn't always more. More can be less. So as much as we want more, we want that big money, we want all this bling, all these things like that. I'm encouraging y'all take a look at your bigger picture, what you really need right now, not always just what you want. If you really want that, vision boards, writing down, using your words on paper, using your words with your mouth. That's the same thing as taking one step at a time. One step isn't always out there just putting in another hour, making another $1, especially if the dollar ain't even really $1. Because how much, as your last show said, how much are you really keeping? It's taxed before you get it. And then before you get it again, it's taxed again if you're a W-2 employee. And then when you get it, on your way, driving on your way to even cash that check, if you're still doing it like that, you get taxed driving there with that gas you're getting taxed on. You set up your stuff right. You get a fuel card, pay tax on that. You get a tax exempt number. You don't have to pay for tax on that fuel. Like I said, you don't, but you get the blessing to have a resale ID number, which once again saves you tax on even fuel. I call it the 30-60-90 formula. You can save 30% right off the top by following these basic rules and regulations that we've been preaching. Careful those. So I've been blessed by it. I'm trying to take it to the next level. Even though we're investing right now into what we're doing today, we cannot legitimately take another step with this thing in business if we don't set up things in a proper, organized manner. Otherwise, we can be just like anybody else, and we can get run over. And I don't wish that for nobody, but I got enough scars inside and out to show where I've been through it, and I hope that we can talk more. I'd like to get in touch with you on the Tuesday show. Send you an email to try to figure out how to get on that, so we can try to figure out how to organize for the ones who either got experience or don't got experience, and we can share with each other and figure out how to buff off some of these rough edges that we've kind of acquired through beating ourselves up through this rough road. We can share our rough road with each other. We can walk a little bit more upright, not run into the potholes, speed bumps. Doesn't mean we got to run from them. We can avoid them. Just like the tax avoidance. We can avoid the tax, but we can run from it. Which place you want to be in. So we're working on it, man. We're working on it. So we thank you again. And I do agree. Praise is due to the Most High, the ancestors. But you give all the praise to the Most High and the ancestors. I think we still got to give a little bit of credit to ourselves, lift ourselves up, come out to the front door, get some fresh air, no matter how it smells, get some guidance. We burn sage in our house. We burn a bunch of different stuff, cedar, sage, all kinds of things like that. Get your spirit right. Clean it out. You got to ask the ancestors. I'll tell you what, man, look at the butterflies, the bees, the birds around you. They all represent something. If you get a bee landing on you, look at that. Bee in our family, every time we meet somebody or something and have a moment of, wait, is this a good place or a good individual? A bird, a specific bird, a bee, something will come and give us a sign. If y'all don't know what it is, you don't have to know how to read every sign. But once again, you got the world at your fingertips in this little computer. Look it up. What does it mean spiritually when you get visited by a bee in a certain situation, a crow, a hawk, a roach, a rabbit? They're not always bad. Just read the signs. There's a lot more out there than what we've been taught. Don't let your masculine and your feminine energy throw you off, because we should all have a perfect balance of it. We just have to get to know ourselves so that we know sometimes when we're taking what seems like the low road might be the high road. Doesn't mean we a coward as a man. It's called a diligent or a prudent man. A diligent or a prudent man will take some steps back and step away from a dangerous situation. Who am I to step up to a bunch of crazy fools standing around with machine guns shooting in the air, walking up to these fools with a whole family? That's just foolishness. Let's keep ourselves clear of the bullshit. Keep your money in your pocket. Put it where it needs to go. Invest in the small stuff. Don't invest all these little schemes. That's the right. Shoot. Let's get a few things to eat. Buy some decent water. A water filter, maybe. I found out yesterday I had to test my water. Wasn't as clean as I thought it was, so that means something to me. So we got to figure out how to get that water cleaner. Anywho, man, I'm trying to keep it simple, but I always got love. I always got something to say. Just from our recent heartaches and always being with folks in the trenches. I wouldn't have it any other way. Another reason why I'm not trying to rush to get on the top of the world, because I'm being on the top of the world, I don't really want to be there. I want to be down with the people. People need us. People are hurting just like we hurt. Don't forget where y'all come from. Not everybody's had to hurt to get there either. So I give much props to my brothers and sisters who got there without, all these variables and types of suffering and crazy things that some of us have had to go through. I've had good parents. Bless us with good love, but some of us got to go through some shit. I believe that's why I got so much passion. Let my kids continue to do what they're doing right now. Run around out here barefoot, year and a half old. I've never seen young men be so interested in what dad is doing. I'm over here trying to get more employees trained, and I learned I have to slow down because these dudes need more training than anybody. In the process, they are teaching this man. So ever thankful, man, always, and forever thankful. So appreciate you again, man. All praises up. Let you get on if you're going to get on, man. Did you get that picture right quick that I sent you right before you got on?
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out.
Head out the window of his new ride.
Okay.
Well, his old new ride. His chariot. So thanks again, man. I think a lot of people really was blessed by the LLC thing. And anybody listening who's worried about it, like, you can still be an employee where you're at and start an LLC. They're not going to mess with you. Unless you say, I'm starting an LLC, you want to throw all your business out there and say, I'm going to be your competition and take your business. Probably wouldn't recommend that type of thing, but you can still use it. Start a bank account, start basic purchases that pertain to that business, and you can still get those benefits. Get those benefits. So be careful. Do a little bit of reading. It's right there, just like Sot said. There's no hiding it. The way I like to express and explain it to my brothers and sisters is the individuals who go through a nice neighborhood is usually surrounded by poverty in some area. The individuals who created all that beauty and that wealth in these private neighborhoods and communities, they created most of these books and these guidelines that we're just now learning to abide by. if we can kind of see what the way they did stuff, it doesn't make us a sellout, but look at the rules. It's the rules of the game. They can be beneficial if you just read them. It's not that difficult. So, thanks again, man, for giving me a minute. Appreciate you.
My
I
pleasure.
want to say good night to Phil. Hold on, put your tools down. Hello, say good night, everybody. Peace.
Good night, and
Peace. Blessings. Good night, lads. Yeah, man, that guy's learning to speak on cue.
That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, appreciate you calling in and sharing with us this evening.
No way.
Thanks a lot, Albert.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
But yeah, I will check
soon.
out. I'll check out what you sent to me, and we'll catch up really soon, man. Thank you very much.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Have a great evening. Peace to the guys.
Yeah, man.
Okay, well, yeah, there it is. That's the phone call. That's the phone call for the evening. Appreciate you calling in, Albert. I appreciate all of y'all checking out the show. Do want to say, if you want to get set up with the Discord server, the foundation has a Discord server. If you're into that dance, email secretary at welcometothefoundation.com. She will hook you up. Once again, that's secretary at welcometothefoundation.com. If you're looking to get set up with our Discord server. Also, we're on Clubhouse. Let's Talk Tuesdays. We had technical difficulties. I did. My phone. It was me. It was me and my phone. I'm just going to cop to it. But it was technical difficulties. And, we're going to be back next Tuesday. I have a backup phone now, so just in case it goes down, I'll figure it out. We're gonna get it figured out. But yeah, I apologize for anyone that was waiting. If you were disappointed, it's that Clubhouse app is on iOS, and stuff gets weird. They just got hacked. If y'all didn't know, but if you're looking to get access, if you need an invite to Clubhouse, you can email me. Matter of fact, email the secretary at welcometothefoundation.com. We'll get you an invite to Clubhouse. It's invite only right now. I know people are selling the invites. We'll give it to you. Don't worry about it. But yeah, we will be back next week for Let's Talk Tuesdays. And with that being said, hey, I trust that y'all, gained some knowledge, some little information. You were able to pick up a little bit what I was putting down. If not, just, listen to the show a bunch of times, and then go start your LLC. Start doing some research. Start seeing the benefits of doing different things than everyone else, or than most people, because that's what it's about. So yeah, I trust that y'all enjoyed the show, the foundation. Here's how to start your LLC. You're going to save thousands of dollars with this information right here, period. So if you need any assistance, book a consultation, $55. Shoot me an email, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. You can go to welcometothefoundation.com and book the consultation straight from the website. So I definitely look forward to assisting you in your private transition, assisting you in setting up your private estate, setting up your businesses, setting up your business credit, doing your dance. And as Albert said, you're going to achieve massive levels of credit with a business than you would with an individual, hands down. So definitely want to get into that. Welcome to thefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list at the minimum. We got the Foundation Trust Primer. We got the Foundation Trust Series. We got the Passport No Social. We got the things for you. And with that being said, trust that y'all enjoyed the show. Have a great week. Make sure that you enjoy yourself. We work hard. We stress. Make sure that you enjoy yourself. That's important. As well as make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. And I appreciate y'all checking out the show. If here on High Frequency Radio Network. I'm your host, Sot L, for the Foundation. And y'all have a great week. And I'll catch you next week. Peace to the gods.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.